Hello, vinyl community. Dave the Pickup Artist with you for another round of Psychedelic Sunday. And this first pickup I got is the strangest album ever, even by my standards. I've been looking for this album forever. And I've got An Evening with Wild Man Fischer. This is 1968.
Down like a circle, baby. I say like a circle, baby. Just like a circle. Woo. Ha, woo. Now, it's really strange going around your apartment house in one big circle. You ask me how I do it. I'm invisible, baby. I'm invisible. You can't see me.
So Larry Fischer was a guy who at age 16, his mom had him committed to a mental hospital after he went after her with a knife. Larry liked to sing. He was very loud, and when he got out of the mental facility, he ended up on Sunset Strip. I guess that's where everybody went after they had left the mental facilities, and he started busking. He would not only was he busking, but he would sing songs, no guitar or anything. He would just a cappella.
The song is merry-go-round. Come on, let's merry-go, merry-go, merry-go-round. Merry-go, merry-go, merry-go-round. Merry-go, merry-go, merry-go-round.
And he would personalize the songs. If you gave him a dime, he would sing, and you give him a dime and tell him your name, he would sing a song and personalize it just for you on the streets. And he was very loud, and passerbys would, just turn their heads. And one of the people that got a song was Frank Zappa. He was cruising Sunset Strip and saw this guy and was blown away by his, not necessarily his talent, but his determination. And he actually got the ball rolling on this album. Now the back cover, we've got Larry, who's being backed by the mothers, who look like they're in awe of Wild Man's powers of levitation. And in the background, we've got a cool green photo of Fischer. And there's a little paragraph here that kind of sums up what happened to him. The inner cover is very interesting. There's a lot going on in this inner cover. On the left side, we've got a foreword by Frank Zappa. He goes over the hangers-on who were at the session. The GTOs were there. Kim Foley, Rodney Binghammer. And on the right side, we have the track listings. And we also have a chart that's very important, because this is a chart that Larry drew up that proves that at this moment this album came out, he was bigger than the Beatles, the Stones, Mozart, Jimi Hendrix. Very interesting stuff. So after Fischer cut this album, things started to look bright for him. He was actually got a few jobs on TV. He was briefly in the Smothers Brothers.
Alligator falling.
So, yeah, Zappa signed to the label. A couple months ago, I showed the 68 Whiskey A Go-Go album from Frank Zappa and the Mothers. He was at that show, and I think he performed, but it's not on the 2-disc set. And I don't think it's on the 5-disc either. But what happened with Zappa was, Fischer was manic. He'd have fits of rage and stuff. He thought everybody was out to get him. And at one point, he was at Zappa's house and he threw a bottle, and it nearly missed Frank's daughter, Moon, who at the time was like a baby. So Frank cut ties with him, and they basically just dropped him from the label.
Oh, Larry! It's terrible! Mother, I love you. You love me, Dave. In the year of 1964, I was released from the mental institution.
So after that, Larry still kind of worked. He got in with the guys at Rhino Records when they were first starting back in '73. He walked in and he talked to the head of Rhino. You know, it was a green company then, and he said, I'll bring you guys a theme song. And there's a theme song for Rhino that was from Wild Man Fischer. And he was working with Dr. Demento also. As a matter of fact, the front cover of this, legend has it, this is Dr. Demento playing Larry's mother. Now this cover is kind of morbid because we got this sign here that says Larry's mother, and we've got a knife here. Are they talking about when Larry or Wild Man went after his mother with a knife or what? But apparently that's Dr. Demento. I did not know that. But anyway, then he got in with some experimental musicians named Barnes and Barnes, and did albums with them. And there is a documentary. It's called Derailroaded. It's on YouTube. You can watch it for free on YouTube, and it's a documentary. It starts from the beginning, and we learn that all about Larry, Wild Man Fischer, and it's a sad documentary. It's one of those sad stories. He kind of went out as he went in a mental institution. But the album is all over the place. We've got spoken word, a lot of spoken word, a lot of a cappella singing. A couple of tracks he's backed by the Mothers of Invention, and those are great. Those are my favorite tracks. But it's if I was to compare it with other albums, it's kind of like a Trap Mask replica. A little bit of it reminded me of Zappa, Uncle Meat. It reminded me of that album. And also Or by Skip Spence. Now, this guy isn't the musician that Skip Spence was, but he's what Wild Man lacked in talent, he made up for in enthusiasm. I mean, look at those eyes. And yeah, very cool. Glad to add this. If you're a Frank Zappa completist, you definitely want this.
slide the circle, yeah. A triangle.
So after Wild Man Fischer, I was in the mood for more avant-garde experimental wackiness. I pulled out the Red Crayola.
They're eating the dogs.
With the familiar ugly. And this is the Parable of the Arable Land on International Artist. These guys were from Texas. This was another collective, like the Hapsash guys. Yeah, these guys did basically what they called freeform freakouts, and people would bring in all sorts of, homemade equipment, household items. As
They're
musical,
eating the pets.
Instruments, that kind of stuff. And this is actually a great album. Psychedelic avant-garde. I've even heard this referred to as proto-punk. Another great band from Texas on the International Artist label. And also, none other than the great Roky Erickson plays on this also. I think he plays organ. He was friends with this gang, and it's a great one. This next band is very strange. Avant-garde, experimental, and these guys were also featured a lot on Dr. Demento. I'm talking about the Residents, originally from Louisiana, but they resided in San Francisco. Obviously a mockery of the Beatles' first album. Copies of this with a different album cover, and I think the album cover featured this image of the Residents. They're done up like I guess crabs. We've got Paul McCrawfish, John McCrawfish, George McCrawfish, and Ringo Starfish. And this is these two albums I'm showing. They're what's cool about them is they do wacky experimental covers of 60s garage classics like Inagata de Villa, Hey Jude.
big barbecue. Stop
Eating
things
the
off
dogs.
tonight.
Even Boots, they do a version of Boots that's just extremely out there. And they followed, this was 1974, and they followed it up with another, with a controversial cover. We've got The Residents, Third Reich and Rule. What we've got is a Nazi who looks amazingly like Dick Clark on the cover. We've got swastikas. Now, yeah, this is controversial, and they, what I read was a Berkeley record store put the advertisement of this record in their window, and they caught a lot of flack from the Berkeley students that didn't like seeing a Nazi at their local record store. But this is actually great too. We get I think there's a cover of Nobody But Me by the Human Beings on here, and yeah, this is another great album. And these guys, yeah, they were, I think they're still around in some form. I don't know if it's the original band or not. I got a download code there. But yeah, I like this stuff. Incidentally, we're listening to the Red Crayola in the background. And this is the label for Third Reich and Rock. You can see the swastikas on there in a weird design. And one of the tracks is called Hitler Was a Vegetarian. Who knew? Who are the grandfathers of avant-garde experimental rock? It's probably the Velvet Underground. This is their third album. Now, I discovered that in the early days, in 1966, Lou Reed and John Cale made ends meet by appearing at children's birthday parties as Batman and Robin. Cale was Batman and Lou was Robin. And they did that for a while. And this is their, now also I saw a picture of bandmate Nico and Andy Warhol as Batman and Robin also.
You jailhouse lawyer.
But getting back to this album, this is their third album, and at this point they had just fired John Cale, and they brought in Doug Yule on bass. And this is very avant-garde, experimental, as most of their albums were. And that's all I got this week. I hope you all have a great weekend. Take care.
Oscar winner Cloris Leachman, Stuart Whitman, Ann Southern, Jim Backus, and the Goodyear Blimp. Crazy Mama is the